Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Reform Report. Today, we have a very special guest for you all. Please give a warm welcome to Jacob Riis.
Hello, everyone. I can't say how pleased I am to be here today.
Welcome, Mr. Riis. We're all super excited to have you here today. We're going to start off with some questions about your early life.
So, Mr. Riis, tell us about your childhood. Where did you grow up? What was your life like at a young age?
I was born in Riis, Denmark in 1849. My father was a teacher and taught me to love learning. Though life was tough at times, I often dreamed of something beyond my small town, and those early years shaped who I became, a person driven to help others.
Very interesting, Mr. Riis. And do you think that your upbringing had an effect on your eventual career choice?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. I came from a working class family, and because of that, I was exposed to hardship at a young age. This made me very empathetic towards the poor, which definitely had an effect on my career.
And I see you eventually immigrated to the U.S. How was life like then?
It was very difficult at first. I arrived in 1870 with little money and no real plan. I struggled to find work and often had to take whatever jobs I could, such as carpenting, ironworking, and even sleeping in police lodging houses when I had nowhere else to go. Those years were some of the hardest of my life, but they opened my eyes to the struggles of the poor in America.
That must have been really challenging. So, what led you to journalism?
I eventually found work as a police reporter for the New York Tribune. That job changed everything for me. It took into the worst slums of New York, places like Mulberry Bend, where thousands of people were crammed into filthy, overcrowded tenements. I saw firsthand how bad the conditions were, and I knew I had to do something. Reporting on it wasn't enough. I wanted people to see what I saw.
And that's when you started using photography, right?
Exactly. Words can only do so much, but photographs, those showed the raw truth. I started using flash photography to capture images of tenement life in dark alleyways, in overcrowded rooms. It was shocking to many people who had no idea how the poor lived.
And that led to your book, How the Other Half Lives. Can you tell us about that?
How the Other Half Lives was my way of showing the upper middle class what was happening just blocks away from their comfortable homes. I gathered my photographs and reports into one book, hoping to spark change. It exposed the terrible conditions in the slums, hunger, disease, overcrowding, and it got the attention of people who could actually do something about it, like Theodore Roosevelt.
Speaking of Roosevelt, I heard you two had a close relationship.
Yes, when he was in New York City's police commissioner, he read my work and was deeply moved. He came with me on nighttime hours of the slums to see conditions for himself. He called me the best American he's ever known, which was one of the greatest honors of my life. Roosevelt worked to reform the tenement laws and improve housing conditions, and I was proud to be a part of that movement.
Your work clearly had a huge impact. Looking back, what do you think was your biggest accomplishment?
I think my biggest accomplishment was getting people to care. It's one thing to tell people the poor are suffering. It's another thing to show them undeniable proof. My work led to tenement reform, better housing laws, and a greater awareness of the struggles of the working class. If I helped even a little in improving people's lives, I consider that a success.
That's amazing. Well, we'll continue our discussion, but first, a quick word from our sponsor.
That's right. Today's episode is brought to you by Dr. Pierce's favorite prescription. Ladies, do you suffer from nervous exhaustion, sleeplessness, or weakness? Dr. Pierce's favorite prescription is a tonic specially designed to restore vitality and strength. Made from the finest botanical ingredients, it is guaranteed to bring relief. Find it at your local apothecary or order by mail today.
Now back to our conversation. Before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or advice for people today?
Never ignore injustice. If you see suffering, don't look away. Do something. Whether it's through journalism, activism, or simply speaking up, change starts when people refuse to accept things for who they are.
Powerful words. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Riis.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And so that's all for today's episode of the Reform Report. Be sure to tune in next time for more discussions on the people and movements that shaped history. See you next time.